Hey everyone, welcome to The Explainer. I'm absolutely thrilled to have you here today because we're about to look at a piece of history that literally plays out like a high-speed game of dominoes. We're talking about the rapid, almost unbelievably fast rise of the Seljuk Empire. Imagine a scenario where a group of people completely reshapes the map of the known world, toppling established powers and forging a massive empire, all before the ink on their founding documents is even dry. It's a masterclass in momentum, strategy, and seizing the right moment. Let's break down exactly how this incredible domino-like expansion happened, step by step.
Okay, let's dive into this. How on earth did a small group, originally starting way out near the Aral Sea, manage to march all the way to conquer the great city of Baghdad, and then push even further to challenge the mighty Byzantine Empire? And get this, they didn't do this over centuries. They did the whole shebang in less than 40 years. It's a staggering geographical and political leap. I mean, we're looking at a shift from relative obscurity to becoming the absolute dominant force of the region in the blink of a historical eye.
Section 1. The Seljuk Triumvirate.
Every great expansion needs a starting point, right? And for the Seljuks, we are firmly anchoring ourselves in the 11th century. As you can see here, we have two founding brothers, Tughril, born in 989, and Tughril, born in 990. But the monumental year, the one you really need to remember, is 1037. This is the year the Seljuk Empire is officially founded. Just let that year sit in your mind for a second. 1037. This is our starting block. From this exact moment, the clock starts ticking on that massive 40-year sprint across the map.
Now, history is absolutely full of empires crumbling because brothers fought over the throne. But the Seljuks, they did something completely different. Tughril and Tughril actually co-ruled. And it wasn't just a duo. They brought in their uncle, Musa Yabgu, to share the power. A family that actually got along well enough to conquer the world. This three-way power-sharing dynamic is incredibly rare, but it provided the Seljuks with the decentralized yet unified leadership they desperately needed to manage a rapidly expanding, highly mobile empire. They weren't fighting each other, they were entirely focused outward.
Section 2. Filling the power vacuum. Let's move to and see how this builds. Once you have that unified leadership, you need somewhere to go. Their march wasn't just aimless wandering, it was highly strategic opportunism. First, they begin near their original homelands by the Aral Sea. Then, they advance into Khorasan. Finally, they push right into the Iranian mainland. Think about the momentum here. They are systematically moving, securing one region, and immediately using it as a springboard for the next. It's like stepping stones of conquest, bringing them further and further from their origins.
But settling in the Iranian mainland didn't just change their geography on a map. It fundamentally changed who they were. They evolved into a Persianate society. Basically, this means they heavily adopted and integrated Persian culture. They transformed from a migrating military force into a sophisticated, culturally rich empire. They absorbed the administrative and cultural genius of the Iranian mainland, and that gave them the exact organizational backbone they needed to govern the massive territories they were about to conquer.
And man, they were far from finished. Armed with this new sophisticated cultural and administrative foundation, they set their sights on the ultimate prize, the march west to Baghdad. You can almost feel the unstoppable momentum, right? Baghdad wasn't just any city. It was the crown jewel, the absolute center of gravity in the region. Conquering it meant you had truly arrived on the world stage. But how did this newly formed, rapidly advancing empire manage to take such an absolute stronghold?
And this brilliantly illustrates how they pulled it off. Just look at the geopolitical landscape of the time. On one side, you have the Arab Abbasid Caliphate. On the other side, the Iranian Buid Empire. These two massive, established entities were locked in bitter, exhausting struggles with one another. They were draining each other's resources, constantly fighting for control. And what happens when two giants are too busy fighting each other? They create a massive power vacuum. The Seljuks didn't just blindly smash their way into a united front. They played a brilliant strategic chess match. They simply marched west, right into the middle of this struggle, and filled that vacuum, easily conquering Baghdad. It was literally a perfect storm of Seljuk momentum and the established power's own internal exhaustion.
Section 3. The Battle of Manzikert. Momentum this powerful eventually collides with something that refuses to move. After taking Baghdad, the Seljuks kept pushing, and their expansion into eastern Anatolia triggered the Byzantine-Seljuk Wars. Honestly, this was inevitable. You just can't keep expanding westward without eventually hitting the borders of one of the greatest, most entrenched powers in human history, the Byzantine Empire. The Seljuks had conquered their way through power vacuums and exhausted rivals, sure, but pushing into eastern Anatolia sparked a major, unavoidable head-on conflict. So, the crucial point is this specific year right here, 1071. Burn this year into your memory. This is the year the unstoppable force of the Seljuk expansion finally met the immovable object of the Byzantine Empire on the battlefield. 1071 is the Battle of Manzikert. Everything the Seljuks had built since their founding in 1037, the triumvirate leadership, the cultural evolution in the Iranian mainland, the strategic conquest of Baghdad, it all led to this exact year on this exact battlefield.
And the result? As you can see, it was a decisive turning point in favor of the Seljuks. They didn't just barely survive the clash with the Byzantines, they won, and they won decisively. This massive victory validated every single step of their decades-long expansion. It proved that their incredibly rapid rise from the Aral Sea all the way to eastern Anatolia wasn't just a fluke. They were now the undisputed heavyweight champions of the region.
Which brings us to the final thought I really want to leave you with today. How did this massive power shift in Anatolia set the stage for centuries of future conflict? Think about it. The Seljuks completely flipped the geopolitical script in less than 40 years. By decisively defeating the Byzantines in 1071, they didn't just win a single battle. They fundamentally altered the destiny of Anatolia and the Middle East, basically lighting a fuse that would burn through the Crusades and far beyond. It really makes you wonder how the shockwaves of this single explosive 40-year period are still shaping our world today. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. I hope this helped you structure and visualize this incredible piece of history. Keep learning, and I'll catch you next time.